Okay, so we've called the order. We have a quorum with 4. Do we have minutes from the last meeting?
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
have them written here.
No, not the.
Matt sent minutes from the last meeting. Yes.
Because I leave
Yes, he sent 17th.
17th, right?
The 17th.
on the
thank you.
17th. Okay, that's all right. So those are the ones. I didn't know if there were. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because today's. Geez. I had looked at those.
Yeah, I did a quick cursory of it when he sent them that day, and it looked
Yep,
good.
that's fine. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 9th meeting.
Second?
So any discussion? Okay, we have a motion, a second, and no discussion. All in favor? Aye.
I-
Opposed? Whatever. Carries 4-0-0. So those are approved. All right. Public input? Nobody here. Facility and field requests?
We do have a few.
Yes.
So, in fact,
I just saw the flag football one, right?
so flag football, but Tasia reached out to us. Remember how she reached out to us the other day?
Yeah.
So her request came in. So she just wanted to know, we hadn't responded to her yet. So I said, we review requests. So let me just find it. Is there any conflict? So she submitted her background check.
Mhm.
That's been submitted. So, and I know Mike sent an email this afternoon saying to add basketball to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Do we know what their requested times are yet? So Tasia's asked
Basketball?
for summer basketball.
They're generally from 4 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Sundays and Wednesdays.
So,
But it
So-
depends on, I mean,
so when do they start? Because Tasia's talking about going from May 5th through June 23rd, Sundays, 4 to 8:30. Should do beginners from 5 to 6:30 and then experienced 6:30 to 8. So
I mean, there won't be any conflict until the summer. But
Right.
Jason will be here at our next meeting so we can figure out when that will be and we'll know that well in advance.
So if she wants to start May 5th, that's 2 Sundays. I mean, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. Do we approve it?
Well, I mean, we also need to talk about the money,
The what?
the money.
In the email that she sent?
Yes.
Okay. So do we want to
So,
discuss that?
yeah. So we all remember the volleyball request
Yep.
to have, to use Talent Hall for clinics. She's put the background check in, so she's all set with that. She does charge a fee, and then in her last email to us, she asked if it was okay, and we told her basically it had to run through the,
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your email, Andy. Just seeing it now. I apologize for that. Okay.
that it runs through the revolving fund. And then she had asked if she could keep a portion of it. So I was not aware that this was
For profit?
For profit, right.
right. Because that sort of opens us up for, I mean, there are a lot of people that, I think of Debbie Rice, who were like, well, maybe she would want to then run her things inside Talent Hall. And then
Correct.
we're going to start getting more and more, competitors to her, and, where do we draw the line, and who, I just don't want us to get into a position where we're using the hall for profit.
Agreed. So how does summer basketball handle it?
Summer basketball, they pay the officials, and that's the only thing that gets paid for.
And all the money goes back into the revolving fund.
Yes.
Okay. So
And then they
pay
get a
the-
check, they get a check and a 1099 from the town for the referees.
Okay. So they pay the officials. All the money goes back in.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, how would we tell her? We wanted her to charge something just to, so people would kind of
Right.
participate more regularly. If there was,
Yeah, the commitment.
right, if there was money involved, they may show up.
And also
So-
a way to fund, more equipment if she needs to get the
Correct.
balls, or maybe a better net down the road, or, whatever.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with her making some money off this. If it's a portion of the fee and there's somebody coming back to the revolving fund, I think that there's a way to split the difference. I think that, having people be compensated for their time to the benefit of them bringing in the services is probably a net gain for the town. I think it would probably require us to draft some kind of policy because we don't want people to be, huge fees.
Right.
But
I mean, that's an exact, I don't want to say yes, and then all of a sudden we start adding, now we have an AAU basketball program that wants to come in and they're charging money and making money. We've sent them away in the past because it's technically they're for profit.
Yeah.
And so we've got to, I think before we can say yes, I think we really do need to sort of look at how we can handle it so we're consistent. And that might be something that we want to bring town council and Troy in on, because that's kind of a policy decision that we're not really.
Well, that should almost be into the jurisdiction of our bylaws. I mean, we've kind of funneled away that type of activity in terms of groups making money, and Taisha's not a group, but it is still somebody. And I mean, I don't know, is this opening, again, I always say this, is this opening the door for something that,
Right.
could grow into something a lot bigger?
It's funny. I was looking through trying to find an email back from 2008, and the first email I found back when I was looking for the search was from Dave Hansberry about a baseball coach who wanted to run clinics in Talent and charge a fee and make money, and it was no for-profit. Was the decision at the time. But it's just sort of was weird that it came up. And I mean, it seems to have always been our policy.
Okay.
but we do allow people outside the building to make money.
Well, we don't grant them access to it. We can't, but we're not going to kick them off the property.
They've gone down to, so they've had, a health guy down at Sawmill. He's used Sawmill before to run his conditioning program, and he's charged a fee.
Yep.
Same thing at
Dara.
Dara. I'm not Talent, I'm sorry, but
Yep.
Dare Pond, the outside facility
Yep.
that they're allowed to, I mean, again, we don't, it's a public park. They've kind of
Right.
just asked our permission, can they go and use it for I guess, for profit. The difference is this is inside Talent. That's
Right.
where the only
We would
problem
have to
is.
actually, where we're granting them access and it's part of our program.
And it's our program, right?
Right. I mean, I know Jim Cardello, we said no to him for, they were running something through his play the game
Mhm.
there because they wanted to reserve the softball fields, which we said we couldn't do. So and I believe Debbie asked to use Inside Talent at one point, and she was told no. If I remember correctly, it was a few years ago.
So in a way, not to delay, I mean, because I know she's gung ho to get started. We've asked her to do everything that we've requested. So she's done the background check. We told her to charge. So it sounds like the question that we don't quite have an answer for is just where she said, will all the money go into the revolving fund, or could I keep a portion of it? Should we say at this point, if she wants to charge the $25, should we tell her at this point it should all go into the revolving fund until we can get a clear answer
Mhm.
moving forward?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would be
Because I don't
comfortable
want her to
with
stop her from starting the program.
that. Right.
So right now we'll tell her, start your program.
Yep.
Charge this fee, and then we will explore our policy around for-profit. I don't know. I mean,
Well, keep in mind, she wanted to do this for free.
she did. She
So-
did.
so
Exactly.
it's
we
not
told
like-
her to
it's
charge.
not about the money. Yeah,
Right, we
yeah.
told her to charge. So I don't think it's right. So I don't think she's going to say, I mean, if we say, no, you can't keep the money, I don't think you should have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to delay her starting it either.
Yeah.
So based on that, Andy, do the dates look okay
Yeah, everything else looks fine.
with no conflict with basketball?
No,
Because they
and
start later in the season anyhow, right? They start July?
they would start at the earliest late June. So,
Okay.
and
So
we-
she's
we
running
can-
till June 23rd.
So we can tell Jason just to wait to go after that, because he'll want to go wait until school's done.
So he'll go June 30th, that following Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just ask him to do that. That
Okay.
should be fine.
So that'll be good. So I can get back to Tasia and say, you're good
Well,
to
we need
go.
make-
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
We need to make a motion.
make a motion. I will make a motion to approve the use of Talent Hall Sundays starting May 5th through June 23rd from 4 till 8:30 p.m. From 4 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. For Tasia Boyson volleyball program.
Okay, which is part of the rec.
Which is part of the rec commission, yep. Do we add in there anything about the fee? Or leave it?
I don't think we need to put in.
Okay, so do I have a second?
1 second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The only question I guess I have is, we'll move forward with this and her request on, can she keep a portion of it, has to be explored.
Correct.
Okay.
All right,
All in favor? Okay, great. Thank you.
carries 4-0-0. All right, then we had flag football.
Yeah, did Mike get back to her or just,
Mike got back to us.
Mike
Yeah,
got
he
back to
has
us saying something, not a problem? Is that what he said?
He said that there
Should
might
be
be some
fine.
overlap in times, but there's plenty of room. There's not going to be a
Yeah.
conflict. So I'll make a motion to approve the flag football request.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just want to see the,
What are the dates on it? It's
yeah.
I had the wrong one open.
Beginning June 25th and ending on July 27th. Looks like it'll be Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 8.
So there's a motion and then you have a second. Any discussion?
Looks good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries 4-0-0.
It's a small window, 1 month.
Yeah.
Any other
I don't think
usage
there's any-
requests?
Not that I know of. All right. New business, draft bylaws revision. So we met in a meeting last Tuesday and revised the bylaws. Everybody has a copy of them, I believe. It's called the proposed bylaws. I shared that with everyone. I'll share it again just so that you can get it in your email. Were there any changes that we wanted to make before reading them? Because according to our current bylaws, to make changes to our bylaws, we have to read them at a meeting and then 1 month later vote on them. And we'll also have to post them on our website so that people can review them if there's issues. Were there any revisions we wanted to add or change? Okay, so I'll go through this quickly because we do have to read it. The rules of procedure for the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission. Article 1, name. The name of this organization shall be the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission. Article 2, authority. These rules of procedure are adopted under the authority of the New Hampshire Revised Statutes Annotated Chapter 35-B:5. Article 3, purposes of the organization. The purposes of this organization are: A, to formulate policies, advise, recommend, promote, and maintain public parks and recreation in the town of Litchfield in accordance with the laws governing the public recreation in the state of New Hampshire. B, to build the public recreation and parks program consisting of public parks, grounds, and facilities. C, to conduct recreation programs utilizing the physical properties available in the town of Litchfield. D, to provide the leadership in coordinating all activities of a recreational nature in the community and to obtain a maximum benefit for the citizens. E, to provide adequate and balanced recreational programs which meets the various needs, abilities, and interests of every citizen. F, to solicit the aid of existing organizations to accomplish these purposes, and G, other purposes consistent with RSA 35-B. Article 4, membership. The commission shall consist of up to 10 citizens of the town of Litchfield who shall be appointed by the Board of Selectmen. There are 6 members and 4 alternates. Persons initially appointed to the commission shall serve staggered terms. Their successors shall be appointed under the same appointing procedure for 3-year terms. Vacancies shall be filled by the appointing authority for the unexpired term. A member of the Board of Selectmen shall be an ex officio member of the commission in addition to the 6 members and 4 alternates. All members and alternates of the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission shall serve without pay. However, they shall be reimbursed for out-of-pocket expenses and travel. Members of the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission shall have full voting authority at all meetings. Alternates will be elevated to voting status by the chair to fill in for missing or vacant members on a meeting-by-meeting basis. Alternates will have full participatory rights in all meetings and will share equal status in all matters involving the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission unless specifically stated otherwise in rules and procedures of the commission. Article 5, officers. Section 1, election of officers. Annually, at their first regular May meeting, the members of the Recreation Commission shall elect from its membership a chair, vice chair, and secretary. Section 2, duties of the officers. The chair shall preside over all meetings, appoint committees as directed by the commission, and sign official documents on behalf of the commission. The chair must be a member of the commission. The vice chair shall preside in absence of the chair and shall have full powers of the chair on matters that come before the commission in the absence of the chair. The vice chair must be a member of the commission. The secretary shall maintain a record of all meetings, transactions, and decisions of the commission. The secretary shall issue all notices of regular meetings of the commission and special meetings called by the chair. The secretary may be either a member or an alternate. Section 3, Director of Recreation. The Director of Recreation shall be the administrative agent of the Recreation Commission. He or she shall be entitled to attend all meetings and participate in discussion, but shall not be entitled to vote. Article 6, meetings. Section 1, regular meetings. The commission shall meet at a minimum of 1 meeting every 2 months. The regular meeting shall be held at the town hall or other designated location on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. Each member and alternate of the commission shall be notified at least 5 days in advance or 5 days prior to each meeting. Public notice shall be provided per RSA 91-A:2. Section 2, special meetings. The chair may call special meetings at any time deemed necessary or desirable, provided public notice and notice to each member is given at least 24 hours prior to the meetings. Section 3, quorum. A quorum shall consist of a majority of serving commission members present. Section 4, rules of order. General parliamentary rules is given in Robert's Rules of Order and as modified by the rules and regulations adopted by the commission shall be observed in conducting meetings. Section 5, order of business. The order of business for regular meetings shall be as follows: call to order, roll call, consideration of minutes in previous meetings, public input, facility requests, communications and miscellaneous, old business, new business, adjournment. The rules of order may be suspended and matters considered or postponed by action of the Recreation Commission. Article 7, committees. Section 1, special and advisory committees. The commissions may, from time to time, appoint special and/or advisory committees to assist with projects. The personnel of these committees may be composed of members of the community, representatives of civic clubs, or other groups. Section 2, commission oversight of committees. Sports and other organizations falling under the commission shall be set up as special committees. As such, at least one member of or alternate of the LRC will be a member of this committee, with the remainder of the members being volunteers. Each committee will establish its own organization, officers, operating procedures, and rules. These will be documented and a current copy kept on file in the Recreation Office. Funds raised by committees must be expended on activities and equipment in support of these activities. These funds will be kept in the revolving fund. Each committee will submit an annual budget to the Work Commission for approval. Within the approved budget, the committee has full latitude in disbursement of funds. Any surplus funds will remain in the account for the committee to offset future expenses and improvements. As with the annual budgets for these committees, both the committee and the commission must approve any expenditure of reserve funds. Annually, the commission will review each committee. The committee will be invited to a meeting of the LRC for this purpose. The purpose of this review is to assess how the committee is meeting the needs of the community and what the long-term resource needs are for the committee. Article 8, Administrative Procedures, Section 1, Purchasing Policy. The Recreation Commission will follow the current purchasing policy put forth by the Board of Selectmen for the town of Litchfield. Section 2, Use of recreational facilities by other organizations. Facilities and fields under the control of the Commission may be used by other organizations with the approval of a majority of the Commission. These requests will be made on forms designed for this purpose, available from the Commission. The requests will be considered on a first-come, first-served basis with the following hierarchy of usage. Number 1 will be the town of Litchfield organizations, i.e. police, fire, etc. 2 would be the Litchfield-based not-for-profit organizations, Litchfield Baseball Association, Litchfield Youth Soccer, Boys and Girl Scouts, etc. 3, the Litchfield School District organizations and teams. Number 4, other Litchfield-based organizations whose memberships consist of a majority of Litchfield residents. And 5, groups and organizations that have some ties to the Litchfield community. Proof of insurance by the organization making the request will be required. The town of Litchfield will be listed as an additional insured on each of these liability policies. Fundraising activities will be permitted on recreation properties with the approval of the Commission. The Commission may decide to partner with or co-sponsor such activities as long as the event in question does not expose the town of Litchfield to unacceptable levels of liability as determined by the Commission. Section 3, use of alcohol at recreational facilities. Under normal circumstances, alcohol is not permitted on any recreation property. With prior approval, events may be held where alcohol is permitted. It is the policy of the Commission not to partner with or co-sponsor an event with an outside organization that will have alcohol present solely for the purpose of covering the event under the towns of Litchfield's liability. At any activity or event where alcohol may be present, the following will be required for the Commission to consider approval for use of recreation facilities. General liability insurance for the event or activity in the amount of at least $2 million with the town of Litchfield named as an additional insured. A police detail assigned by the chief of police of the town of Litchfield and paid for by the organization holding the event. Other security and safety procedures and personnel as may be required by the Commission with the input of the chief of police and fire chief of the town of Litchfield. Article 9, amendments. These rules of procedures may be amended at any regular meeting by a 2/3 vote of the Recreation Commission members present. Proposed amendments shall be submitted in writing and read to the Commission at the regular meeting the month prior to being voted. Article 10, records. The records of the Recreation Commission shall be kept by the Secretary and made available for public inspection at the Litchfield Town Clerk's Office in accordance with RSA 91-A:4. The end.
Well done.
Nice job.
I bet we have no viewers now.
You're wrong.
There's 4? Is there 4?
There's three or four, yeah. Okay.
Okay, there'll be a quiz.
They forgot
tomorrow.
YouTube's on.
Looks good. Looks good.
Okay, so that's just the reading of it. Then we can have a discussion and vote on it at, next month.
Okay.
All right, next item was benches for playground.
Yes, so, did you see Rachel's email?
On the
So
equipment.
she had a question about, so there was a couple of things. We said they had been approved to go purchase
The mulch.
mulch.
Yeah.
I said for them to send the bill to Troy, I guess, for us, bill the rec commission.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
that
it's
would
not
just
put on-
come out of the revolving fund.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then she said, had there been any update on destroying of the concrete pads?
I have not heard. I don't know.
Troy was off today. Yeah, I had asked him to ask the highway department if they would.
Do it.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him yet.
Okay.
And then did someone on the board say anything about benches that a Eagle Scout or anybody had
I
talked
think
about?
she had mentioned that the
She made
school
it sound
had
like
done.
we, she said, she asked us if we had.
I got a clarification about the Eagle Scout thing, and it's kind of funny. You know, we always talk about, it'd be a great Eagle Scout project, but the ironic part is, seeing my wife's involved with Scouts, you can't suggest a project to an Eagle Scout.
No,
They
you
need
can't.
to do
They
it
have to come to
themselves.
us.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
They have to
exactly.
come to us. So she said, as I mentioned, I believe someone on the board had a contact at either of these places to see if it was a possibility. She said at the high school or Boy Scouts creating benches.
I mean, it could be a Boy Scout thing.
Mhm.
It wouldn't have to be an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah, and it could be like a den project or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the shop. I know some of the benches along the walking path were done by the wood shop at the high school.
Right, the high school down below, right by the pond.
No,
So-
no, on the bike path.
Oh yes, who put the ones down by the pond though? Who put those couple of benches? They're not elaborate. They're just a couple of,
Mhm.
I don't know, concrete things and a bench on it. I don't know who. Okay,
See, a perfect bench would be if you made a concrete mold out of, wet some plywood and shape it, and then you put pockets in it. And then, you make it like, probably 4 inches thick, and you made a bunch of them, and you'd have one for each end of the bench. And then you get some composite wood that's got some tensile strength to it. And then that way they'll never rot. They'll be a son of a gun to move.
Mm.
So I don't know, but that's my opinion, right? Because I think that, we've been nice and we've tried to we've experimented with benches at the baseball fields, and they end up going everywhere. And, so I think something with some heft to it will probably be a little bit safer.
Or just sunk right in the ground.
Yeah, that's true too.
so at this point we're still waiting for something response back from the highway department.
Yes,
on?
yeah.
Okay. So they've been contacted, we think, or
I don't know. I contacted Troy. He's the one that, is the hub of our communication. I'll email him again.
okay. So it's I know. Yeah, he's a busy guy. I know that.
Yeah.
So highway department regarding concrete pads, and I don't know who may have mentioned it, but we don't have any information.
I would say
About
that the
creating
contact
benches.
is either the local Boy Scouts or the high school itself. Contact the principal or vice principal there and see if they have, if they want to do a shop project.
Okay. And I can reach out to Mr. Perez at the high school if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. The only other thing that's not on here for new business, because it came up, I know there's no power to the shed at Dara.
Yep.
Um,
Sorry, your follow-up email.
So I know, and I tried to email Troy today and he was out. So
Yeah, he'll
I'll
be
hopefully
back
hear from him tomorrow.
for a
He,
day.
he seems to think that when they put the temporary furnace at Dara, they may have tapped into that somehow. And so
Is
he's
it
going to have an
is it
electrician.
all of it, or is it just for the irrigation? Is that what you were? I don't know.
If you go to the pole, the meter has no reading on it. There's no power to the meter.
Oh, okay, all right.
So nothing. There's
So
no
it's
power going to the
external
shed.
power, not
So
inside
it's,
the
I
building.
mean, it's really that street light
Okay.
that's down there,
Yeah.
the lights at the pavilion, the
Softball
light,
snack shack, more than likely.
And now the
Yeah.
irrigation.
and the irrigation which runs out of there. So we need to
He'll
get
need
that.
that just to start that.
I hope they stop worrying about Jeff Lane as much as they worry about Roy. My grass isn't as green as Derek.
I don't know why.
Long.
Yeah, they haven't done anything to Roy. as
Oh,
far
they
as I
haven't
know.
yet.
No,
Oh.
no, he hasn't. I don't know if he's even been down to Sawmill yet.
Is it that bad too, or?
No, it's not bad. It's just, I know there's brown spots.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if anything's even been turned on. I guess with all the rain, there's probably no need
Yeah,
to turn
I don't
anything
think,
on.
yeah, it's usually April. It's not you don't want to be watering too much in
Yeah.
April unless we're right.
No, I mean, we've got a lot, everything's mud out there, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying is that I don't have irrigation either at Jeff yet, but still we could
Any
use some
grass yet?
fertilizing. Oh yeah, yeah, that's where we're playing on it.
Oh, good.
I just want to see it green
Yeah.
instead of, dormant still. Wake it up.
It'll be
Um,
soon.
All right, old business, previous action items, and going from the bottom of that, the notes.
Before we
Oh, yeah.
jump into that, I did get an email from the Christmas
Yep.
group. So I sent them the insurance information to get the additional binder, the insurance binder for Town Hall. They're holding a paint night.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So they needed the additional insurance because they're not serving alcohol, but alcohol will be there. So I sent her the information on how to purchase.
But aren't they a committee? One of our committees.
Well, that was her question back. So she
So
said,
that's-
how do we
that-
pay
that-
for that?
That's, from my understanding, we don't need that additional rider
Oh,
for
Okay.
our own groups. This is only for a group not part of the town that is.
Okay, so that was our misunderstanding because at the last meeting, I said I would send her the insurance information and I needed the police detail. That was the
The
stipulation.
police detail we'd have to have, yes. But it's like the comedy nights that we do that we've co-sponsored or sponsored. There's no additional insurance that we
Okay.
need to get.
So
Um,
they don't need insurance.
As far as I know.
What group is it?
This is the Christmas in Litchfield.
Do they have their own insurance? Oh, I
No.
guess it doesn't matter.
They
They don't
fall
have their
under
own-
us.
Right. They didn't for their event, so this is a fundraiser now.
This is a fundraising event. At the last meeting, I said, okay, I'll send the insurance information. They'll get the police detail. I sent it to her and she said, okay, well, how do we pay for this? I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good question.
Well, the police detail would need to be paid for out of our funds, out of the revolving fund, and any money that they get through the fundraising would need to go into the revolving fund.
Okay.
So that's how
Yeah.
everything that they do needs to go, all
Through the
money
revolving
comes in, needs to go into the revolving fund, all money expended needs to come out of the revolving fund.
But they don't need the additional insurance.
No, they don't.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And I will tell her not even to worry about the insurance. Okay. Easy enough.
Thank you.
Just make sure they clean up that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so action items from our last meeting, contact Carrie Ann about stargazing. Colleen, did you contact her and let her know?
What was that? I'm sorry.
On the action items, contact Carrie Ann about the stargazing.
Oh, I haven't contacted Carrie Ann. I had to contact her. That's my fault.
Okay.
I did not contact
Um,
Carrie Ann.
The second action item was contact Carrie Ann about story time. That was supposed to be Mike.
That was Mike. Yeah.
I don't understand why we didn't have one person.
Story time. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't.
I mean, if it's the same person, it's like,
She's
hold on,
getting-
somebody else
yeah.
will be calling you about
Yeah.
story time.
Don't tell me. You got to
So
tell
what
the
was
next
the
person.
decision on story time? That they could do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they
there's
could do
nothing.
it, right? There
we
was no
don't-
problem.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll just, okay.
Christmas in Litchfield fundraiser, will there be alcohol? So that has been answered. Price of purchasing 4x6 posts. I have not done that yet. It's not really on the high priority. I'm going to wait until after it's been painted because I don't want to put it up there and all of a sudden they can't get equipment in there that they
Oh
need.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm also going to try and talk to Jason that when Jason's at our next meeting about getting volunteers from the summer basketball to show up that day and just do the rails that day.
Mhm.
We'll put in some benches too, just kind of like the benches you had, the old benches at Jeff Lane, where they were just sunk into the ground and then
Oh, wooden plank. Yeah.
2x10 put on top of it.
Yeah.
Just to put two of those next to the basketball court so they can sit down there.
Yep.
Pull out the speed bumps for Royal Memorial Field. That was just a rec commission ASAP. I don't think they've been pulled out yet.
I don't think they're out yet. I don't,
No, I saw them in front of Talent the other day when I went by. Let's see. Contact Sandy and Joan McGibbon on Wednesday. I did talk to Joan and Sandy about the river access. I'm actually meeting with Sandy on Friday to come up to discuss the actual name. The Conservation Commission will have their meeting next Tuesday, and they'll discuss it there. If they're okay with it, we will pass it on. I think the 13th is the next Board of Selectmen meeting. We'll bring it up there, and hopefully at that point we'll have a decision. Next action item, contact Jim Rice about basketball poles at Dara Park. I've emailed, I have not heard back from Jim.
So I bumped into Nick Delia at a softball game, and I said, Nick, what's going on? So as far as he knows, I don't believe they were ever purchased, and there's nothing happening. He said unless they've reached out to another concrete person, he's like, he has not been contacted to do anything with the
And I know that I saw on their post that they are electing a new president, vice president, basically every
Yeah.
position. So it sounds like they have a complete changeover, which is,
And he
and
said
I know
the
Jim's
person-
position is being elected, so I don't know if he's not.
and the person that was going to purchase them, as far as Nick knew, did not purchase them.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any new basketball.
I'm just curious, and I don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but why was there a picture of them digging in the ground one day?
They did. They-
What's the purpose of it?
I don't know.
Like,
There's now cement around that one pole that's
Yeah.
down by the pond. I don't understand exactly what the purpose or what.
Yeah, there was I don't know where it was, but I remember seeing a picture of them
Yeah.
on Facebook or something, and there was a
I
couple
don't
of
know.
people,
I didn't ask.
that they were
Nick that.
replacing them, and that's why I kept asking about,
Right.
when we were going to paint the courts. Are they done, or
So
So I don't think it's happening.
I guess what I will do is I'm going to contact them and say,
Don't do it.
don't do anything until you come back and talk to us, because again, we don't want to mess up. We don't want to delay the painting of the courts.
Sure.
And then we don't want, after they're painted, we don't want them in there just tearing stuff up. And I personally think those hoops are absolutely fine. Let's see, sent an email out to the commission to have the private meeting. We did that and took
All set.
care of that.
Yep.
One other communication, I don't know if I forwarded it to you. I will. Jason has on the rock and the plaque. He gave me an update today. They actually found a rock that Jack has that he's going to put in place for us, so we're getting that for free. It's actually a nice stone. And Jason's currently working with the company in London area that did the plaque out front here. And so they're working on wording, and he's actually meeting with Sandy to go over the wording. So I'll forward you what he sent me. It's still in process, but he's on top of that. He's hoping to, if we can get the naming done by the end of May, have a ribbon cutting ceremony with the new name and the plaque, and just sort of make it a nice event. All right, any other items for business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
all
All
right.
right. Carries 400. We are adjourned.